Hey, EV drivers, how much could you be saving on charging? Enter your zip code at ev.energy/join to find the best deals and utility programs near you. Sign up, connect your EV, and let EV Energy handle the rest, helping you save money and even earn cash incentives where available. Smarter charging, lower costs, and a smaller carbon footprint. What are you waiting for? Start earning today with EV Energy.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Clean Tech Talk. I'm Zach Shahan, your host and CEO of Clean Technica, and joining us today is Quentin Scott, who's the Federal Policy Director at the Chesapeake Climate Action Network, CCAN. And we're going to talk a little bit today about this long-running EV raffle they've had going on, but also Quentin, his background, and CCAN. Yeah, to start off, let's just do a quick intro. What are the key highlights or bullet points of the EV raffle you guys have running for just a few more days, basically?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Zach. Excited to be here with you. We're very excited here at CCAN Action Fund because next Tuesday, September 2nd, just a few days from now, we are actually drawing 3 winners for our 7th annual EV raffle for the planet. It's not too late to enter. As of this recording, it's still more than 2,500 available tickets. And you can get those tickets at the evraffle.org for your chance to win while supporting our fantastic nonprofit. If I didn't work for CCAN Action Fund, I would actually buy these tickets buy a ticket because CCAN Action Fund employees are not allowed to participate. But if I could, I would definitely buy one of these tickets because we have some amazing prizes. Our first prize is for a winner of their choice to pick a top line vehicle like the Rivian R1T. Matter of fact, a few years ago when we gave one away, I actually got a chance to drive that R1T, and it's a fantastic ride. And again, if I could participate, I would definitely get that vehicle. But you can also choose between a Lucid Gravity or Air, or a Porsche Taycan or a Macan EV. The second prize winner will get to choose between a retro and fun Volkswagen ID Buzz or a Hyundai Ioniq 5. And then the third place prize winner will get a Chevy Equinox EV. And again, you can buy tickets at evraffle.com to enter, get a chance to win one of these fantastic prizes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the Buzz has pulled me in. All of them are great. I love all of them. The Rivian's great, but that Buzz, oh man, it's like this dream vehicle. I can't justify, can't get it, but if I won it in a raffle, hey now. but
I know,
but yeah,
exactly.
we'll come back to the raffle and CCAN itself, but just want to get started with how you got into this role, what your background is that led you to CCAN.
Yeah. I've been doing policy work or campaign work in various different forms since 2011. And really, it came from sort of my upbringing in Chicago. I have a very politically active family that always talked to me about, staying active in your community and leaving your community better than when you found it. I've really dedicated my life to pursuing policies in a world in which I believe in. And so that ultimately landed at Chesapeake Climate Action Network and working for CCAN Action Fund because I am someone who sees right in front of me the impacts of climate change, and it's one of the biggest crises of our generation. 4.5 years ago, I joined the organization in January 2021, and I've been working since on clean energy policies, clean transportation policies, really to make sure that my future children have a world that they can live in.
Nice. Yeah, Chicago. So I'm tempted to ask about who you might know from Chicago, but we can circle back to that if you have any fun stories. But yeah, I in 2007 and 2008, I was actually director of a nonprofit in Charlottesville, Virginia, for that region, and it was focused on sustainable transportation and sustainable development. And I worked with CCAN back then. Like we did, there were certain events where, you collaborate with other nonprofits or projects, and CCAN was around doing great stuff back then. I don't know. It's it's got to be one of the older, more established, climate focused not organizations in the country, even though it's got that, Chesapeake, kind of regional kind of tag on it. But could you give us, a little more background on what it does, what it's been doing, and why people should support it? Because all of that, but when you buy the tickets, of course you want to win the prize. But I think what motivates a lot of people to buy the tickets is when they feel like the organization the money's going to will be used well, whether they win or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you interacted with CCAN way back in its very formative days. So the organization has been around since 2002, and it just started in Maryland, and that's where the Chesapeake comes from. But since we've grown to now include DC, Virginia, we've done work in West Virginia, a little bit in North Carolina and Delaware, and I'm part of our national federal team. And so our organization is a lot bigger than it was in 2007. But we've been working on a lot of great policies on my team in recent years. For example, we were a national leader in advocating for wind, solar, battery storage, geothermal, and other clean energy technologies at the federal level. And we got historical investments in those clean energy technologies. We also were a big advocate for the EV tax credit, which I'm sure people have seen a lot of commercials for the $7,500 tax break if you buy a North American built electric vehicle. We also advocated for policies to make sure that charging stations are built across the nation so that consumers, when they buy that EV, they feel very confident that there is a reliable, fast charging station somewhere nearby. But that's exactly, honestly, why they should give in this moment. If you've been paying attention to the news over the summer, you know that a lot of the policies I just named are under threat or have already been rolled back. And so we need the resources to make sure that we can fight these policies that are taking us in the wrong direction. And quite honestly, double down at the state level. We want to make sure that state actors are making sure that they make it easier for homeowners to put rooftop solar panels on their homes. And if you don't have those perfectly angled rooftops, that you and your neighbors can get together and build a community solar project somewhere in your neighborhood. We want to make sure that, if there's not federal investments into electric charging stations, that states pick up that slack and start building charging stations across their state. There's so many ways that we can double down our efforts and make sure that despite what's happening at the national level, that states are leading the way, which they've historically done back in 2007 and at other various points in our political history. And so having the resources to make sure we can lead that advocacy and continue that advocacy is why people should buy these raffle tickets, because we are doing great work. We all are solving the climate crisis slowly, but definitely surely.
Yeah, I was curious how much of that is now lobbying in DC at the federal level or to Congress people. Um, is that still big part of it? Is that a big part of what you do, or are you more geographically spread out than someone might assume from?
No, I mean, we have teams that are lobbying in DC local. We have teams lobbying in Annapolis for Maryland. We have teams lobbying in Richmond for Virginia. And then the team that I lead, we are still actively up on Capitol Hill talking to senators and U.S. Congress members and doing whatever we can to persuade the Trump administration to preserve sort of clean energy investments the best we can. Right now, one of the big projects that we're trying to protect is a offshore wind project that is coming off to the coast of Maryland. And so we're on Capitol Hill, and we're engaging the federal government to make sure that that project stays on schedule and it actually gets built, because they already have all the permits to get started, and we want to make sure that they have everything that they need to make that happen.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't need to pull any punches here. The anti-clean tech agenda in the current administration is genuinely like insane. It's just it's pulling us back in so many ways. Um, Both, public health, but also economically,
Yep.
just our standing in the world economically and business. as a business friendly environment, even because I mean, who goes and approves projects and gets them rolling and then pulls the plug on them? I mean, this is not a business friendly environment or activity, even beyond the realm of clean tech. Just like whatever topic might upset someone at the moment, they're going to just kill it. So I think we're at a very tough time federally. So I'm sure you're doing your best, but I'm sure it's got to
Yeah.
be a little bit of gray skies and not the most hopeful um, work at times at the federal level. So I do like hearing that you guys are focusing more and more on the state level. I really think it seems like that's where there's put the most hope or potential at the moment. I mean, you got to keep the federal stuff going because you don't want to lose your place. You don't want to
Absolutely.
lose the conversation too much. And there are people on both sides of the aisle who are eager to support clean tech. I know there's probably many Republicans as well who would like to support it because they have big factories or projects in their states, big economic, big tax, all kinds of advantages. Um, but how are you navigating and thinking about doing more work on the state level to sort of get more done while it's so crazy
Yeah.
in the White House?
Yeah, to your first, to one of your points, we are still engaging on the Capitol Hill because, as you mentioned, Republicans care about clean technology as well. There are a lot of factories and jobs in their districts based on these investments, and the rollbacks that took place are definitely threatening those jobs and threatening a business-friendly ecosystem for clean technology. But you know. Uh, States are where the game is currently, and we have experience there. Well before, no, the Biden administration made historic investments in clean energy. States are where most of the early clean energy progress was made. States, like Maryland in 2000, the early 2000s, established a renewable portfolio standard of like 10%. But it really got the conversation going. But now we're going back to those states and we're saying, hey, we've socialized this. Clean energy is the cheapest form of energy on the planet. It creates jobs. It has all these health benefits. And so states, regardless of what's happening at the national federal level, need to double down and, really invest in their communities because it's good economic policy. And so we've been putting more resources, dedicating more of our team energy to focusing on these state policies. Like I mentioned, I'm the federal policy director. I have a team
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
manage.
Yeah.
But what I'm,
I was realizing as you were talking, I was like, I'm sure
yeah,
stepping over
but
his territory.
no, but I just want to say this really good point that despite the fact that I'm on the federal team, part of my team supports state efforts because regardless of what the state does to promote, let's take offshore wind, there is a federal component to approve permits so they can actually begin that work. So there's always this interconnection between state efforts and federal efforts. And really what we need to do is push our states to do more and use their influence to get the administration to approve whatever permits they need to build something like offshore wind.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I was thinking, well, as you shift more of a focus to state, you still got to link up, like think what's gonna be a good link down the road, or
Yeah,
even right now to federal policies, like what's gonna end up being able to, what can you like supercharge down the road if things change federally, if you're, depending on what you focus on the state level, like because there's
exactly.
some things that might be more limited than others, but also like when you're talking about the Congress people, like I mean, there's a few states where oil and gas are huge economic machines, but there's it's much more broadly the fact that clean tech, renewable energy, and electric vehicles are benefiting a larger number of states and regions. Like they have just they're all over the country, helping people have jobs, helping people have better lives, improving the economic atmospheres. So it's a little wild to, I mean, how much the oil and gas industry has a grip over the Republican Party, but there's just been growing in the last, we've been covering this for 15 years. In the last 10 years, there's just been growing economic benefits and political strength in the clean tech industries across the country, like in every type of district, even more so the red districts,
Yeah.
which have gotten more support because I think Democrats tried to like reach across the aisle a lot and supported red districts even more than blue districts. And then, of course, Republicans in charge of those districts are happy to take the money and say that they brought these projects and jobs to their district. But my point is just that the effects are positive much more broadly, I would think. So I would assume that you do have positive conversations with Republicans in Congress, Republicans in DC, who would also like these policies to be stronger or to continue. They just don't have necessarily the will or the ability to fight against the current administration, right?
You're absolutely right. You know, back in June and July, we had positive conversations with a number of Republicans who were seeing the most benefits from these clean energy technologies being manufactured in their districts, where they're creating jobs, creating tax revenue for local governments in their districts, and so they were. I mean, what it was like 33 Republicans signed a letter ultimately supporting clean energy technologies. And even after the House of Representatives voted to repeal the investments, 13 came out afterwards saying that they hoped that the Senate would go in a different direction to preserve these investments. But ultimately, when it came down to it, the political pressure that the White House was able to exert on those sort of fringe, or not fringe, but sort of members who spoke up to support the clean energy tax credits, they were shouted down, and ultimately they voted to repeal it. And so they all have to like suffer the consequences of their vote in the future. But to another example of Texas, Texas is a huge oil state, and with a lot of the Exxon and big oil companies are headquartered in Houston. They have a lot of influence over Democrats and Republicans in that state, and yet they are the state that is deploying more solar energy than any state in the union, because it is a job creator. It is, it makes their energy grid more reliable, more balanced. And they had the foresight of this 15 years ago, before the current governor. So they had a lot of this infrastructure in place to build out wind and solar well before a lot of the blue states. So it's totally possible to have a red state that is heavily influenced by the oil and gas industry while also pursuing policies that are thinking towards the future and providing those future jobs and healthier communities.
Yeah, Texas is a really interesting case. I mean, it's got this less regulated grid, and that I think early on led to much more wind power being built there because wind power was just cost competitive. It was just like it just won economically. So it started getting built there really quick. Solar hit
Exactly.
that point, and again, same thing happened with solar in Texas, and now it's even the number one state ahead of California for new solar power installations. Not total. California still leads with that, but
Yep.
it's been a wind and solar leader for years because it's like a kind of free market grid a little bit more, which has its obvious problems with uh, energy security and whatnot, especially during extreme climate
Yeah.
events. So it's ironic, it's crazy. It's a fascinating case what's going on there, but
Exactly.
because it's such a giant wind and solar power state, again, you would think like no one politically from Texas should want to kill these industries because it's just bad for the people they represent, bad for their state, bad for their economy. We're in an extreme situation right now. We don't, we know it's the case where the bully pulpit has probably never been used as much as it is right now, or at least not for a long time, not in our lifetimes. And there's no like democratic consensus or discussion allowed in our political environment right now. It seems like it's like top down, autocratic. This is what's happening. This is because I feel like it. And so it's a strange case. I know there even the Congress people who want clean tech. Uh, they even probably thought they had a big ally on Elon Musk being
They did. They
on their
really
side
did.
for a while, or still, whatever the situation is. But that just showed how limited anything can be, because if even he couldn't make a difference after pouring hundreds of millions of dollars in to help get and beyond much more than that, on the influence side, to get Trump reelected, elected again, I should say, whatever,
Yeah.
uh, then it's very hard to have hope. I guess that's sort of what I'm circling around to. There's so much potential, there's so much interest and demand, even from the right, but it's so hard to have hope. So I guess the last question on your work side before we get back to the raffle is like how do you deal with that? How do you deal with keeping hope and keeping and trying to find something that's going to be useful, um, when the barriers are so big right now?
Yeah, the hope that I get is from just our members. Despite everything that is happening, politically in DC, we continue to get encouragement from our members. Anytime we send out an action alert, asking them to sign a petition or make phone calls, the enthusiasm that we get from our member base, that they're still committed to this, still committed to clean energy policies, clean transportation policies, and addressing the climate crisis. They show up every week to support the actions that we're promoting, whether, again, is phone calls. We get hundreds of phone calls into elected officials on our issues. We get thousands of petition signatures. We get dozens of people to show up to rallies. We hosted a rally at some of the federal agencies early in the year, and I mean, we were like swarms of people were showing up because they really care about what's going on in this country right now, and that they recognize that um, the bully pulpit is being used in a way that, as you said earlier, we've never seen before, and it's making people uncomfortable. And policies that we spent years, thinking through and making, business friendly, and all the things that we did, and to just disappear with a snap of a finger or a signing of a pen. It's just been very shocking to a lot of people. And because they show up when we ask them to show up, it encourages me that people still care. And long as they care, I'll have the energy to take their energy and fight on their behalf every day on Capitol Hill.
That's great. And it's so easy to feel hopeless right now, but I think that work is really probably more important than we realize too, because it's easy to go to extremes and think this is the end of our country or something like that. But at the same time, if you keep that work going and it's consistent, then when the tide turns, or when an opportunity opens up, you're able to be at the table to make a difference. Whereas, if you
Exactly.
just shut off and walk away, you're not, and you cede control, you cede power, and so it's great that I think it's for a lot of us right now who just it's too much to handle. We put a lot on the shoulders of people like you who are still out there doing the work, fighting the fight when it's really hard, and that really matters a lot more than probably we acknowledge. And yeah, I just want to say thanks for what you're doing, because it's got to be hard right now. So we need people like you who can put that burden on your shoulders and carry our passion forward. But yeah, let's get back to the raffle. So do you have any more to share? Like, how long have you been doing the raffle, and any stories of winners? It's funny because we've worked with you guys for a few years, for a while on this, and we've worked with others. And actually, I don't remember if Illinois Solar Energy Association was the first. It was one of the first we worked with, and we worked with them for several years on it. And their first winner was a reader, Clean Technica reader, and I didn't know for a year. They came back to like do a sponsorship with us, and we were doing articles about it. And one of the articles they mentioned, or we mentioned, we were given the information, or they mentioned that their first winner was a Clean Technical reader, and I was like, "What? I'm finding this out a year later? Like why didn't anybody tell me? Like, we would have written about this like just as soon as it happened."
Yeah.
And it wasn't like an active commenter or someone who, like, a you have a small percentage of readers who are very active in communication with you, and you start to form like that's the community, but that's like a tiny, like less than 1% of, that's a tiny sliver of the readership. So there's so many people who are just quietly, following, even supporting financially, but you don't ever talk to. And Yeah, it's great to yeah, it was great to find out, but it was like, well, why didn't anybody tell us? But it
Yeah,
is the case of like, of course, you're not likely to win. It's not a one out of one raffle ticket. You know, you're
right.
still you still have less than 50%, well, less than 50% chance.
Mhm.
But the odds of winning are so much better than like lottery or anything like this. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
you actually have like you're gonna end up someone's gonna end up winning who you have like a second or third degree connection to probably or something. But yeah, could you just talk a little bit more about your history, the stories you've accumulated over the years, and maybe how you've evolved to offer so many EVs?
Yeah. So this is, we've been doing this for 7 years. So this would be our seventh annual. And, we've been promoted it nationwide, and we've always limited the number of tickets that we sold to make sure that, we are giving people some better odds than what the lottery would give you, but at the same time making sure that we're selling enough tickets to meet our goals, our fundraising goals. And some of the stories that I've come to hear from some of the winners, where when their raffle ticket is pulled, they'll get this call, and they bought the ticket like 4 months ago, and they forgot they bought it, and all of a sudden they just won this car. And so it's almost like back in the day when they used to show up the clearinghouse prize winners, they would just show up with the big checks. So I just imagine getting that call from our staff saying, you just won an electric car, and just be like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? So it's really exciting. And so as this raffle has become more popular, we wanted to expand it out. It really started off as a Tesla raffle, just focused on a Tesla car. But as the EV market has diversified, there are other EVs that people like, and so we've incorporated these other EVs from other companies to really just reflect the growing EV market. And as well, we really in particular switched from Tesla this year for the obvious connections to Elon Musk. Not a very popular car this year.
Wait,
um,
what happened? I'm just kidding.
yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a reminder,
And
next
believe
week.
me, we understand.
Yeah.
We understand. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been covering. Uh, yeah, we've been covering the sector for a long time, and yeah, a bit of a blindsided uppercut was this whole situation. And I mean, I mean, we've already been talking about it. It's doing horrible things for EV policies, and
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, keep
Yeah.
going. Sorry.
And I certainly, the Tesla drivers here around my neighborhood, they all have little stickers on the back of their Tesla saying, I bought this Tesla before Elon converted. So
Yeah.
it's something that is on everyone's mind. But
But it's also like the market. Yeah, 7 years ago, um, there was like almost no. I mean, there was a market, but it was extremely limited EV
yeah,
market. Even in just the past 2 or 3 years, the market has expanded tremendously in terms of model choice, the 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 range and cost of these models, the just the whole market is flowered, is blossomed. It's so much better than it was. So
yeah,
I would think no matter what, like it's great. I love just looking at that. You're like, oh wow, you could win this or that. You know, it's like you don't want just one option. You know, especially now with uh like Teslas are everywhere. So they're sort of like Toyota Corollas or Toyota Camrys, and they're still great cars. You know, people still buying them in droves because they're such great cars. But people want variety, they want choice,
yeah,
different people want different things. And I mean, you've got things like the Buzz now, the Rivian options, the Ioniq 5, these really creative cool EVs that I'm sure a lot of. So I love when you look at the prize options, you're like, it's like, oh my gosh, I could win that or that or that or that. It's not just like, oh, I could win one vehicle. So I think it's really appealing. I love what you guys have done with it.
yeah. Yeah, and just a quick reminder, next week, September 2nd at 6 p.m., CCAN Action Fund will actually be doing the drawing to see who our three winners are. And, it's not too late. You can still buy your tickets at evraffle.org. You'll be supporting a great cause. You get a chance to potentially win one of these great prizes. And as a reminder of what the prizes are, the first place prize winner gets their choice of a Rivian, Lucid, or Porsche. The second prize winner gets their choice of a Volkswagen ID Buzz or a Hyundai Ioniq 5, and the third place prize winner gets a Chevy Equinox EV. Tickets are just $200. All proceeds benefit our work. Um, Time is running out. Please go out and buy these tickets so you can see if your name is pulled on September 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, three winners. That makes it also like you're like, oh, there's three, not just one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to get my tickets, but as I've done in the past, but I think it's the most exciting ever this year. So really cool. And the thing that's always driven me is like, just to support a good organization too. Like, the money is going to go to really good use, and it's better that um, than a lot of other things we waste money on or spend money on. So it's really good organization to support. You guys, I'll say as the former director of a nonprofit, that is a hard job, and to keep an organization running, to be effective, to grow. So I think you guys, I have massive respect for what CCAN has done, what it does. I know it makes a big difference. I know it's been doing that for I guess it's been more than 20 years now, 23 years. So it's really it's one of the great organizations to support. So probably goes under the radar, underrated a bit too, I think, compared to some of the bigger names that have been around for decades, but even more decades. But yeah, great work. Thank you for joining us. Any final comments or any final, and one more time, what's the website to go to?
Yeah. Purchase your tickets at evraffle.org. Still got time to purchase one for $200. Again, it supports a great cause, especially at this time when we really need it. We need all the resources possible to fight this administration, to make sure that we're continuing to keep our country invested in clean energy technologies. And yeah, thank you again, Zach, for having me on.
Thank you, Quentin. Have a good week. What is it? Wednesday. Have a good
This
rest of the
Wednesday.
week, and have a good day. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, you too. Thank you.